And away we go, my friends. Here we are at the pickup meeting. Glad to be back for a second episode. How about that, Brody?
Yeah, they let us do it again. We've made it.
Yeah, this makes this official. Before it was just a hobby. Now this is a real thing.
Yeah, like the pilot, and this is like the first real episode. Like you have the pilot, and then we do tons of pilots, but then you get episode 1, and now we're official.
And with like any good season, sometimes there'll be some filler episodes. I don't think that's what this will be. Our guest today is fantastic. I'm really excited about it. We're not going to go there quite yet, but like this isn't a filler episode, folks. This is episode 2. Like we've got a real home run guest today.
We absolutely do. A former president of NACADA, a dear friend of ours. We're excited about it.
Yeah, that's what we call teasing in the industry, I've heard.
Yes, that is true. Absolutely. So we were talking about this the other day on the phone, like how the summer's almost over. That's crazy. It just started.
I know. And depending on when like folks are listening to this, like the fact that like it could be fall and they're like reminiscing about the summer, and it just feels like we've blinked and it's over. And that's not to say that like it's a slow time, but I would definitely say that like summer is a strategic time. How do you think you've maximized what you've done this summer?
I haven't maximized anything. I don't know what you're talking about. Like you get so consumed with some of the daily work, right? Like I'm involved in preview here at my institution, and I speak every day for 7 weeks, right? And so you've got that kind of as the anchor for your day. But I mean, budgets were big, right? So spent a lot of time strategizing monetary stuff, and then we're doing some rebranding in our unit. So working on some of that, and working with our marketing person and getting the staff to buy in. That's been a lot of fun, really exciting, but it moves so fast. And I sometimes struggle with all the work that's you got to get done to find the time to prioritize that work. How have you done that, Kev? Like I really struggle to get it done.
You know, in past years, within my division, I'll do office retreats, right? Where we spend an afternoon or a day, depending on the office sometimes, and go through things. I think one of the things, like my leadership style very much is relational, very much is about connecting with folks and really embracing the culture of care. And knowing my people this year, it probably kept me from doing as many of those retreats as I normally would do during the summer. I think folks are tired. And I just think that's an overall theme. And that's not to say that they weren't tired in previous years. It's just you get to a point where initiative fatigue or, hey, it's time for something new fatigue comes in. And I felt like from a gauge of things this summer, it was really focusing on how to strategically enhance what we're doing already. And grow those things, even just tiny bits with tweaks and just different efforts, as opposed to strategically, we need to get together and figure out a new path. I felt like the burnout was real, and I would have walked into a wall as an administrator had I tried to push for more.
Yeah, I've been in my role 2 years, right? And I think it's taken 2 years to kind of make certain people know me and know what my style is. But I tend to agree with that, right? It's about tweaking the strategy. I try to come up with a theme each year. And my themes the first 2 years, actions, not outcomes, and numbers are people are numbers. I'm coming up with a new theme this year, and I haven't finalized it yet, but it's really about kind of emulating that theme through the work that you're doing and kind of thinking about something that's going to keep people motivated and wanting to do the work. And under the guise of, we have important work to do, and higher ed is kind of crazy right now. People are tired. Absolutely.
People are tired. And I think that, regardless of where you're at in life, there's a readiness for the fall semester ahead. For me, I have a 16-year-old that's going to be going into his junior year. And I said to my wife the other day, I said, it's time for the school year to start. He's ready for a routine again. And maybe I'm ready for him to have a routine again.
Absolutely.
He's ready for a routine again. And as I'm talking to people on campus, I there's a lot of that, but there's also a lot of like the energy on a college campus is different during the summer. And that's not to say orientation doesn't bring a lot. That's not to say campuses aren't busy, because we are. There are different things going on. But it is for sure to say there's nothing quite like that energy of the fall semester. And I think folks are really ready for it and excited about what's to come.
Yeah. My office looks out into the quad, so you can't even avoid the energy, even if you wanted to, right? Like I can look outside my window and everything is happening in the quad. It's been a fantastic part of my new gig here. And I love the fall. So maybe I wasn't as productive as I needed to be this summer, but the fall was really good.
How do you get work done? How do you get work done with you see the quad and like, I would be like, well, they have ice cream today. Oh, look there. They're building something new. Like, how do you, I wouldn't be able to focus. I'd be outside all the time.
Yeah, I walk every day. I try to get my walk outside and enjoy the campus, right? When you have a beautiful campus, it's easy to take that for granted. But, Illinois State's an old institution, and I've enjoyed my the visual look of the campus, and I take advantage of that whenever I can. That's absolutely for sure.
So as we roll into the fall semester, what are the things you're looking forward to? Do you have plans or travel or conferencing that's occurring that you're excited about? Like, what are some of those things going on?
Yeah, I'm definitely going to NACADA in Vegas.
Me too. I'm also now going to Vegas.
That's fantastic. I'm excited about that. I really like Vegas. This will be
I really do not, but I'm going.
Why not?
I don't know. It just seems like a lot, man. I'm a simple man. Simple likes. I don't need all the glitz and glamour, Brody. I just, I want the simple city. And Vegas is not the simple city. That's not the phrasing.
No, it's not. It's the Sin City, right?
Yeah, I don't know anything about that. I'm just going to go and enjoy the conference.
Yeah, so we've got that. I've got a couple of regional things. I'm involved in ILACADA, which is the Illinois Academic Advising Association. The Midwest First Year Experience Conference this fall is at Sauk Valley, I think, really close. So I'm going to try to hit both of those. I'm doing some NACADA consulting work. How about you? What do you got going on?
Yeah, beyond NACADA, I'm going to go to my first ever NACAT conference in the admissions world. It's in Columbus this year, and I'm going to go check that out. I'm excited about that. And I'm going to go to a Vikings game this September. Also super pumped to get up to Minneapolis and cheer on the Vikings. And sorry for everyone that's listening, all of you that really don't like the Vikings. That's just the reality. I'm going to a Vikings game. It's going to be great. And let's see. I do a yearly mancation, if you will, with fraternity brothers from college. There are somewhere between 10 to 20 of us on any given year that go into the mountains of Gatlinburg and say that we climb mountains, but really we just enjoy some company and interaction with folks and maybe have a beverage or two as we just enjoy some time together.
Yeah, the last 2 summers you've had bear interactions, right? Like real, actual bears.
Oh, on the trip. Yeah, in November. Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like bears have come up and hissed at me, and I was on a miniature golf course, and a bear was on the course in the middle of Gatlinburg. So, yeah, it's strangely wild.
That is strangely wild. We were talking on the phone. I think we should talk about this, and maybe we can ask Dana this. We were talking on the phone of movies that should have had a sequel or movies that should never have a sequel. I have a different category, and that's movies that had sequels that should have never had sequels. And I was thinking about this the other day. Jaws turned 50. How the heck did they make more Jaws movies than just the first Jaws? Come on. That was terrible.
Yeah, I remember the first one, and then I can't say I remember much after that. So, like, doesn't the original just end up standing on its own?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Movies like The Hangover would hit in that world, right? Like where the initial one was like good, yes. And then it was like, why do we need 3 of these?
Why do we need 3 of these?
Yeah,
absolutely.
I really tried on the movies that should have had a sequel, and honestly, the way Hollywood makes money, I don't know the answer to that. We're gonna have to ask Dana, though. It's gonna be really, really interesting to see what she says.
Yeah, wouldn't Ferris Bueller's Day Off have been a fun sequel, like maybe College or Adult Life? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, the one that came to my mind is like one of my favorite movies of all time is The Shawshank Redemption, and I think that would have been a lot of fun. But like, what do you do, right? Like,
yeah,
they're just on the run from the law. They don't get to just build their boat. Like, spoiler alert, this is what happens in this movie 30 years later.
Best friends hanging out.
Yeah. That's the only one that really came to mind for me. My son and I were thrifting in Oklahoma City over the last week. And one of the fun things that I saw was there was one booth that had action figures of all kinds, and there was Titanic action figures. And I'm like, now there's a movie that didn't need a sequel, but beyond that, I don't know what I don't know that I have anything else to contribute to it.
The only thing I heard in that explanation is that you were thrifting, and how, my friend, have we not thrifted together? Because I'm a huge thrifter.
I don't know. I grew up in this, right? Like, my grandparents had a antique place, Winks Antiques, in Columbia, Illinois, and grew up in that world. And I remember going to estate sales with my parents and grandparents, and now it's just kind of stuck. And my mom collects little golden books, and I collect lapel pins of all kinds and forms. And Braden enjoys going and just looking for the geeky things that he likes and really enjoys. And so it's like that I just enjoy doing it. We're going to have to go.
We got to get that done. But maybe we should bring our guest on first.
All right, go to it, my man.
Yeah, so Dana Zahorik is with us today. No surprises, just one of the best people in the whole world, one of our favorite partners in crime in the world of NACADA. And we're super excited to have you on the show today, Dana. Welcome.
Thanks for having me. It's nice to reunite. Absolutely.
You're kind of a big deal in the NACADA world, right? Former president, training and development guru. What's keeping you busy in NACADA right now, Dana? Anything?
Oh, wow. You set the bar high here. Well, my career goal was always to be part of the board and as the presidency, because I just love to be at that strategic level. So I was really excited to serve the association that way. And then all of a sudden, when you get done with the presidency, it's almost like you jump off a cliff, because it's quiet for a little while. You're so involved every day, and it's quiet, which I miss. I miss being involved at that strategic level. But now I get to hopefully support all the other people that are part of the board and part of all these great committees. But I am keeping busy with the Admin Institute, and I'm also doing some consulting work. So yeah, always involved. I always will be.
Dana, when you when I think about people in getting involved in NACADA or in any association, it's one of these things. As I got involved, I was like, well, I'd like to be president someday. And then I would like run for elections and not win, or run for certain elections and win, and then had to choose paths and things that were there. Like, what do you think the biggest myth of the presidency is, like within NACADA? And then also, like, maybe flip side, like, what was that really fun, cool thing that you're like, oh, I didn't know this was part of it, and I freaking love it?
Yeah, those are really good questions. So I think at one point someone did say, like, oh, you could be the next president of NACADA. And I laughed, because I was not an administrator. So I thought, well, I always thought people that were presidents had to be like provosts and college presidents. And so I never thought that would be my trajectory. But somehow I started out, I was helping with the peer advising commission group, it was called at the time. I drank the Kool-Aid, and I fell in love with it. I was like, oh, you can make impact in all these little different ways. So that was pretty cool when I did become. I think I might have been the only president that wasn't an administrator at the time. I was an advisor and counselor role. But my message to anybody then is, you can lead. Anybody can lead if that's truly what you want to do, and you work towards that skill set and listen. The most important thing is to listen. You're not going to be the person sitting at the table with the gavel, pounding it and telling people what to do. You're going to be listening to the members, all of them. So it can't be, your own personal agenda. Like, I thought I was going to change the world and, help diversify the ballot. And I feel like I just got started with that, and all of a sudden, my year was up. So it goes by very, very quickly that way. And you asked me about what surprised me, Kevin. Was that the?
Yeah. What was that surprise of, like, oh yeah, this is awesome, or just the surprise in general?
Well, okay. So it's an association of volunteers, and you have to keep that in mind, right? Everybody comes to the table, and you've got great leaders, and everybody has different philosophies and ways to go about it. So to me, it really helped me prepare me for management. I grew this skill set that I never knew that I would have by pulling all these diverse ideas together, keeping the mission in mind, and still moving forward maybe not as fast as I like to move. That's higher ed in general. I think sometimes it's like, I think you're going to change the world overnight, and it takes a little longer to do it the right way.
From the standpoint of sitting in the chair of president of NACADA, you were one of the few at that point, if not the first. I don't remember for sure that came from a community college. And so I'm wondering, what brought you to Fox Valley Technical College, and over your time frame there, like how has that evolved and really grown and changed?
Yeah, so I started as an intern here in 1995. And after my first year, I know, I just aged myself considerably. Sorry.
Don't get too crazy. We're the exact same age, Dana. Like, come on.
True story.
I'm not old. You're not old.
And I was 15.
I dye my hair, so try to hide that a little bit.
I dye my hair too.
That's the two bald guys, and Dana actually has hair. All right, here we are.
So when I started working here, as an intern, I fell in love with how we made students feel, the culture, the environment. I mean, just walk down the hallway here, you could feel the great energy. And I was like, wow, I belong here. I hope our students feel the same way. I'd also interned at a neighboring institution. And I remember being in a line and watching the students. And all of a sudden the advisor walked out and said, it's lunchtime. The rest of you are going to come back. And there was like this huge line of people, and they were all just registering. I was like, I don't want to do that. So it really, I guess, was an eye opener for me that culture plays a huge role in creating an environment for students. And then just like where I wanted to work, I just wanted to be part of that great energy. And I can still say, after all the bumps in the road here and difficult situations we've been in, like I just still feel cared for by my institution. And we just had our Noel Levitt's results back, and advising was one of the top services for satisfaction. So I was really proud of my team and the hard work that they do. But yeah, that happened 2 years in a row. So that was exciting.
Yeah, Dana, let's talk about that a little bit more. Like in my professional world, I think I've worked on 4 different campuses post my most recent degree, right? You've been at the same place your entire career. Fox Valley is the only world you know. Like, what do you think are some of the advantages and disadvantages of that?
Yeah, so like for me to stay abreast of like the high impact practices and things that are going on in higher ed, I have to make sure I am out in like doing the reviews with other colleges, doing consulting with other colleges has helped me really stay in the know. I have regular digests of news feeds that comes through, so I can really stay on top of what's happening in higher ed. And then professional growth is a huge part of that. We just had a Wisconsin Technical College meeting with all 16 supervisors, and we went right down the list and we talked about what is happening with onboarding, where are the gaps, what are you doing? And it's kind of funny because some of the things that we did, 15 years ago that we stopped, all of a sudden we're bringing them back and now they make sense again. So it's just like this continuous assessment loop of what you're doing, and making sure you're in all these different, pockets to learn what's going on and stay on top of it. If I just sat at my own little desk and just never got out of here and asked other people what they were doing, it would be not a great situation, I don't think. And I surround myself with really smart people that have great ideas.
Well, you know that world, right? Like, that part of it or people that are in that world where they do strap themselves to the desk. They never leave. The development parts are pretty restricted. And so like, good for you for like how you broadened and how you really grew that experience, because think about the journey that you've had. That's amazing.
Yeah, I'm thankful I have a team. They just have great ideas. And so they'll say, hey, can we try this? And my supervisor has always been great about letting me try new things. Sometimes they fail and sometimes they're great, but just always trying new things. And then I think a lot of us forget to ask the students what they want. We might think they all want a 3-hour orientation. That's the best thing for them. But then you survey and they're like, I don't want a 3-hour orientation. No. So those are all little things to keep in mind, I guess.
So you come from a world that we don't sometimes talk about all that much in NACADA, or I think it's an area that goes under the radar, right? Like when I come to conferences, right, and even at the Administrators Institute, having a 2-year person, a community college person, a technical college person is kind of like you're like a gremlin of sorts, right? Like I don't mean that in a bad way. I don't mean that in a bad way. But like, how would you describe this? Because I think a lot of people that might be listening here don't automatically come from a community college background. How would you describe that experience to someone that's not worked in that space?
First of all, Gremlins would be one of the movies that should not have had a sequel. I have to preface that. Okay, I'm just saying.
There it is. There it is.
Look at you go, Dana. That's awesome.
So I think that the hardest part about you're right. There's a very small portion of us at NACADA, but they've come a long way about making sure we're really using some of that universal language, right? When you refer to university, then that kind of cuts the 2-year college folks out. And I know it's hard to think of all those things. But one thing, when you think about our general population, so our average age here is 26, and almost 70% of them are going part-time. So a lot of times when we're talking about conversations about adult education, I mean, that's our world. That's what we're doing all the time. So our people are coming in, they're working, they've got kids. You just have to deliver in a different way. And you can't just have like a prescribed program plan for them because it's going to be different for every person. So when we are, onboarding folks, we have to really ask a lot of questions and individualize their experience. Because if we don't do that, we will lose them. And then we build our resource plan with them based on that.
That's fantastic.
Dana, let me just say, from a champion standpoint, there are several folks that I would put on that list, but you're such a champion for what community college can be and what it is. And I think that sometimes folks get to this where they're like, oh, you work at a community college, and they put that phrasing that's there. Like, how do you stay so like energized and upbeat and the champion like effort that you put forth on being just the greatest advocate for the education and experience that's occurring on your campus and in community college around, because you're involved in these reviews on various college or community colleges throughout the country.
So it's interesting. You saw that I went to my son's high school presentation a few years back, and they said some of you will go to college and some of you will go to tech school. And I was like, ooh, ouch. Right. So people weren't perceiving that. I know we've come a long way, and that starts right at recruitment. So we're talking to the high school counselors, principals, and we're trying to change that language at that stage, right? Because they're talking to students. But we also, in the last couple of years, we have a little bit of a hook with the tuition rates and student loans. We are out there saying, you can literally get an associate degree for $11,000 on average. Where else are you going to get an education? And then our placement rates are phenomenal. I think 91% of our students have jobs when they get out of here. It's just a phenomenal placement rate. And then you can also, I don't know, if you look at nursing or diesel mechanics, they're begging for you to work for them before you even get out the door. And then you have a pretty good salary. So we get to tote that a little bit more, especially recently when people are scared of the whole, the finance pieces of going to college.
But I think like what you said prior, right? Like kind of the individualization of the approach to every student, I think is really important and something that every institution could benefit from. You automatically have to do it, right? It just is it's the norm. And I think maybe that's something that our four-year institutions have kind of forgotten about.
Well, I am thinking like my team wants to do that. It's funny if I said, we were talking about appointment lengths. Like when you think about how much time should an advisor spend with a student? Well, if I only allowed a half hour, then that really means you're probably only going to get to start those conversations. But we have 45 minute to hour appointments because of that, because we ask, how confident are you about your career on a scale of 1 to 5, right? It's all part of our master advising plan. Then we ask, what are your short and long-term goals? And then we have a list of things. It's called Factors Affecting College Success. And it lists things that you might stumble on. So for instance, when I went up to college, if someone would have said, Dana, what do you think you're going to stumble on? Or what are you afraid of? I'd be like, I have no idea, right? I was first gen, no clue. Yep. But we write down, like it could be transportation problems. It could be daycare. So it's very rare when someone just leaves that blank. And then we kind of know where that conversation goes, how to build out your resources based on that. And if you check a whole bunch of things, you're probably going to case managing that student to make sure they're they're doing well.
For the audience that may not know, and Brody briefly touched on it, Dana is part of our faculty on the Administrators Institute and has been for several years, and is incoming chair of the Administrators Institute. And so he and I both have had a chance to interact in a way of teaching and engaging as we serve on faculty for that role. And this next question comes from every year being just blown away by your insight and expertise on this particular subject, but you're a recognized expert in training and development. And like, it's something that when I hear you talk about, like, one, it's an area of passion, but the other is just like, I learned so much from those opportunities through what you're providing. What's the biggest mistake institutions make, do you think, when training and developing advisors?
So sometimes first of all, thanks for that. Kudos. I didn't see myself as the training development expert. Now I have pressure. But
you are an expert. You shouldn't apologize for that, Dana.
Gee, thanks.
Way to be expert. Audience, if you're following along with us, for our audio friends, like, Dana's face is super red. And so that's where we're at this moment. It's really just gotten to that point. So now she's not certain what to do. And so we're just killing a little time for her.
Hey, and I'm back. Yeah. I think sometimes when I see institutions, like their handbooks that they create for advisors, it is very much about technology systems and, transactional. So I think when you think back about, we should really focus on is making sure that you're, number one, have a mission and vision for your advising. What is the definition of advising at your institution? What are your outcomes? Do you have a syllabus? Like, that all has to be created first, and then you can train. So I've seen some people, like, we are declaring we have a proactive advising model. They just declared it. And then the advisors are scared out of their minds. Like, what does that mean? That means more work, more on my plate. So you have to back up and make sure you have all those other pieces in line first. So you truly understand, like, what is proactive advising? What does that mean for me? And it's kind of fun if you ask each advisor to write out their own personal advising philosophy. Like, how does that match the institution? Yeah. Then I feel like you can get to the nitty gritty of that. You can look at the conceptual parts of your training development programs and the relational, informational. Like, you have to have all three of those components. And many times people stop at just the informational, where it's just like a little check. I told you about how to use that degree audit, check. And it's also not super inspiring, right? Like, advisors want to learn more. They're eager to learn more. And many times we limit them because we don't have the money. But there's so many cool things you can do in-house. Just at our own institution, I know some phenomenal speakers that could just, knock our socks off. Think about your internal people, do an article read. There's so many cool things that you can do that won't blow up your budget.
Yeah, and it sounds like that focus on the foundations is so key before you move on to trying to run, right? It's learn to walk before you can run. Probably got to learn to crawl sometimes.
Absolutely. And then, NACADA is all about borrowing from others. My training program is like a patchwork quilt of all the cool things I've learned from other NACADA members. I did not start from scratch. I went out on the clearinghouse. I found some colleges that had great ideas. I reached out to them. So it's just, I made it my own, but based off of different pieces. The favorite piece I think people have really loved, though, is the Advisor Cafe. That I stole from a school in California. It's just like a gathering session. And if you have donuts and coffee, people will come to anything. So that's how you get them there, right?
I'm there. I'm coming for sure.
Who does it come for a donut? And then we switched up the themes, but we did a what would you do? Kind of like John Quiones. And we'd throw out some scenarios, real scenarios, and had people react to it at their tables and report out. We did 7 minutes to success. So you have people doing really great things at your institution. Have those people share out what they're doing, and other people are intrigued, and they have in-house people that they can learn the details from them.
You mentioned what would you do, and then you said a name. Tell me that name again.
John Quiones. Did I say it correctly?
Yeah, I think you did. But Brody, this is the guy that was at the restaurant we ate at in St. Louis a year ago together.
It was
Brody, and it was the host of what would you do?
Yeah,
and he's sitting there eating at this barbecue joint, and like everybody's coming up and taking pictures with him. And Brody and I were just sitting there going, "Who is this guy? Like, we have no idea. He looks familiar. We didn't know."
Whoa. He came to Fox Valley Tech. I actually have a picture of him with one of my advisors. And I use that as my opening slide when I do that.
We did not get pictures with him. Now I kind of sort of regret that.
We were so full from the delicious barbecue that we couldn't even function.
God, that was amazing.
Right? You missed out. So go YouTube that, like YouTube, what would you do? It's such a cool situation. It's like a social experiment.
Yeah.
Dana, you mentioned, right, like the balance of the conceptual, relational, and informational sides of advising when designing training and development programs. I've really struggled here. Like I presented in the spring on AI, right? And this isn't an AI session, but the one thing that I've started to notice is how much the advising community has peddled in information, right? Like that seems to be the space that every training and development program gets right, but to a fault. Like it's the only thing that we talk about. Like how have you really integrated the relational piece and the conceptual piece into that development, right? Like those are really about skills and understanding the roles rather than all of the information you need to be credible. But the other things are really important too, right? How do you do it?
Yeah, so like that's an integral part of our advising model. So many times people are confused about what their role is within their advising model. So we actually have it laid out specifically, like at this point in the student's journey, this is a milestone and this is what you're doing. This is who is doing it. And we have a communication plan, what we are saying. So like if we give them the toolkit to be relational versus if you're like, go forth and be relational, like what does that even mean, right?
Yeah.
And then we like that master advising plan that automatically builds in relation because it's telling you, check on their career readiness, check on what some of those potential barriers might be. It's giving them the tools. So I feel like you need to build a toolbox that goes along with your model and some sort of like standard of care that you're expecting your advisors to deliver. That helps with the relational piece. The conceptual piece, I feel like can be, maybe that's where those article reads come in. A lot of people have talked about, advising as teaching. Well, ask your team, what does that mean? So use examples. I've said to somebody, I had a student one time that said, I'm mad at my professor, but I don't want to talk to them. And I'll say to the student, well, when you get out into the workforce someday, and let's say you disagree with your boss, what are you going to do? Right? Think about it in terms of what that will do when they're employed someday. And then it's like a little teaching moment, right? So then you can use some of those examples. But I feel like that's hard for some people. Sometimes, like, how do I integrate that into those conversations?
That's great. Yeah, I'm glad that you've mentioned that, right? Like the conceptual piece is about understanding and the relational piece is about skills, right? Like I don't talk to many advisors who don't say, I could be a lot better as an academic advisor. They almost all say they're really good, but there are things that we can learn and do to be better in our interactions with students. And that maybe is to my next question. How do you work with folks who say, I've learned enough and I'm not, I think I'm really good at this. Like, how do we build in training and development for folks that maybe are the reluctant attendees of these sessions?
So what Brody's really asking is, this is an answer for him, because he's walking around at home at night and being like, listen, I'm so good. I have all this figured out. I don't need training and development. Right?
That is not true.
Oh, that's not what he's saying. Sorry. So this question may or may not be for Brody and his development.
I'm done learning. I've learned everything I can learn. Look at me. I'm as smart as I'm going to be.
Yeah, you've topped it. You've hit that ceiling.
Thanks, Dave.
Some of us haven't. Well, okay. So you have to have, we're humans, right? You have to have some sort of incentive. I was very fortunate. I worked with our HR team to infuse that into because we have faculty advisors, we infuse it into a faculty development opportunity. So they get what's called progression, where they would take so much professional development and then they would get a stipend or some sort of reward, right? That's changed over the years. But what would happen is then the faculty would see value that would get them involved. And so we utilize that as a tool to get them there. And then once you get them there, we have an advising certificate, and you can see if you take the Advisor Academy and 3 what we called elective classes, then you get this certificate. And people are like, oh, you have that certificate. And so it just, I don't know, I think that really was helpful. And the second piece was there's some departments that are just busy, right? It's hard to pick a time that they're all going to come to. So I've offered to take the show on the road. I will come to your department.
That's
right.
fantastic.
Then you can't pick and choose who's going to be there. I'll come to your department. I did that with the aviation folks. I just came and did the whole academy for that particular group.
Yeah. So. Quick hits.
Yep. And I was so excited because there was deans that showed up too. It's like when you have your leadership showing up, that also tells you that they find it equally as important. So yeah, if you can get leadership involved too.
Yeah, that they can show that there's value in what you're talking about. It's important enough for their time. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Dan, one of the questions that we ask within the Administrators Institute, and it's gotten us some good answers and some interesting answers, is like, what keeps you up at night? And I thought, I'm going to ask this question, and instantly, right? Like I can see the cringe already that like I don't want to go there. So why don't we flip this, like, right? Instead of that, like, what keeps you hopeful or energized about the future of advising? And if you want to go beyond advising and say student success, because I know that's a lot of the world that you work in too, like, what keeps you energized and hopeful?
Well, I have been in higher ed my entire life, and I find that you talked about like initiative fatigue, and I had to get a handle on that this last year because I was like, oh my God, I want to try this, I want to try that. And I was like, stop, just stop. Because even my team, right? I'm like, we should try this. That has an effect on them as well. So we've really tried to hone in on just picking like 2 things that we want to focus on. So we picked 2 high impact practices. And that's where I get excited and hopeful for the future is like these high impact practices. There's a lot of research going on, like Complete College America had shared some information. NACADA had some great articles that really helped build those 2. And I was like, I might be overwhelmed, but I can still make a difference in those 2 areas. And so if we all did that, we could learn from some of the research and the data. I mean, there's some really cool things that we can do. Or one example is we're looking at students with financial holds. That is a captive audience of people that want to come to school, right? There's hundreds of them here.
Yep.
So what can we do as a college? What some people are doing is they're looking at the threshold for when you put a registration hold on. Some people are looking at flexible loans. They're looking at microgrants. Like there's so many cool things going on. So to me, even though there's the students under preparedness and needing more effort to keep students afloat now, if you do some of these high impact practices, it can help you feel strategic still. You're still making a difference and just like it's continuous problem solving, which I enjoy.
Yeah, I love that. I will tell you, I've really tried to focus in my new role here, right? Coming to a new place, like what policies, what practices are so out of their depth or haven't been examined that impact student success, right? So it doesn't require a lot of work on your advisor's end. It just is about identifying where the problems are and then being in a position to kind of solve those problems. And the great thing about that approach to me is that advisors have really great ideas about where the problems are. And sometimes they don't automatically feel like they've got the agency to get that done. And then that's where an administrator can come into play. And so we did that with our, I asked this question last fall of my staff, like if you could fix one thing about math, right, at your institution, what would that one thing be? And man, the responses I got from my academic advisors and my academic support people and all of the areas within my unit, it just led to a treasure trove of things that you could really get done and not with that hard of work, right? Like it's just, and sometimes there's big things that you got to do and you got to put resources to it. But in other instances, it's really, the other great thing is you're listening, right? Like you're taking the ideas and you're using those ideas to solve those problems. I love that approach, Dana. That's fantastic.
I love the fact that, so an advisor said to me the other day, you realize we're with the student from the start of their journey all the way to the end. Like how many other staff in the college can say that? And I was like, that's profound. You're right. Going back to what you mentioned earlier, a fun thing to do, just for fun, is do an audit of your holds. like what holds do you put on students, restricting them from registration, and why, and which ones are equitable and which ones are historical. It's eye-opening. It's very eye-opening.
And eye-opening how many people love some holds.
says a registrar, past registrar.
Yeah, we're doing the same thing right now with priority registration. Ooh, boy.
Yeah, they've always had it. They're going to be upset. Yeah,
those are not easy conversations.
No,
but
they're not easy conversations.
That's one thing I've learned is sometimes if you even have an outside consultant come in and say, hey, look at our practices and policies, to see if that you have some suggestions to make equitable practices. Yeah.
We should have some fun now, Kevin, don't you think?
Let's have fun. Let's go.
Or do you still have if you've got more questions, let's do it. I
want to have fun.
No, I'm just here for the fun. I'm the first 40 minutes of the show. I'm okay, like it's fine, but like let's go.
All right. You want to ask the first question?
Oh boy.
Yeah. Okay. So, what is something people might be surprised to know about you, Dana?
Here comes some good stuff. This one you should have prepared me for.
We like these honest answers right off the cuff. Like we're not playing here.
Well, I'm a goofball. If people haven't seen that side of me, I'm definitely a goofball. But I think I led on this earlier. I was a first-gen college student. I went off to school. I had no idea what I was doing. I almost flunked out of college. I got a 2.0 my first semester. So I don't think people would ever have deemed me like at risk. I was third in my class, came into college, and I just flew under the radar. Nobody ever thought there was anything. And I came from a teeny tiny town, and I come from three generations of loggers. I can throw firewood like no other. I could compete with you. I would crush you.
Now
There's the soundbite. I would crush you. Check out this episode of the Pickup Meeting with
Dana Zahorik. And if you don't agree with her, she will crush you.
Only firewood throwing competitions.
Oh, I took it to a different place.
So, Dana, if you weren't doing academic advising work, what would you be doing? Like, what would be a different career that you'd be doing, Dana?
Maybe I can tell you what I'd love to do when I retire, because that would probably hint towards it. But
that's great.
I want to do something with children. Like if they had a spot in the hospital where I could just rock babies in the ICU, I would do that all day long.
Wow.
Yeah.
Whoa. Okay, so that's a good answer. Like I'm not against your answer of baby rocking, right? Like, but I was not expecting that answer, because I feel like I've heard your retirement plan, and it's to like buy adult tree houses and like have a treehouse campground. Yeah. Am I way off the line?
That's right. I remember this conversation.
I do have the plans for my treehouse, but I came across so many zoning problems that I can't, because of the square footage of it. So that one's paused.
Okay, so you've gone from treehouse
baby
retail to baby rocking.
I mean, that was always in the back of my head.
Yeah.
It's a fair trade.
Yeah.
It's great. I think it's going to be a rocking time. See what I did there?
That was great.
Dana, what is your, the premise of the pickup meeting? We've talked about this, is like it's the meeting that you just kind of stumble into, that you have this just random conversation with. So what is your go-to drink order, coffee or other, on a tough day at work, tough day with advising? I know.
I'm definitely a chocolate martini person.
Oh, she went there. She went to alcoholic drink.
But
listen, we said tough, and we probably set ourselves up for that one.
I had said coffee, because
no, you say whatever you want. I mean, if people are going to think you're drinking chocolate martinis in the morning and a tough advising day, then let them.
Oh wait, did we say before work? I didn't hear that part. I thought you said if I'm having a tough day and I get home.
Oh no.
Okay.
Okay.
Rewind. That would be a latte. It'd be a vanilla latte. If it's after work, and then you said martinis, I can only have one. I'm a one drink wonder, and that it would just be one after work.
Okay.
Not plural.
I snorted. That's how funny I thought that was. So we've been doing these. Well, I can't say we've been doing it because we only did it with Tara. This is our second time, but we have lightning round questions, and they're fun too.
Okay.
And so we're gonna just lightning round it. And the first lightning round question, Dana, what was your first job?
Waitressing. Oh no, sorry, dishwasher.
Where?
The Northwoods Inn in Pickerel, Wisconsin.
All right.
Everybody should do that.
Oh,
what did you say, Dana?
Everybody should do that. It's the most humbling, customer service.
I was a dishwasher too.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't my first job, but doggone it. It was very tough.
Yeah, those jobs are a lot. Favorite higher ed moment?
Favorite higher ed moment. Well, there is a student that took 7 years to get through college, and she worked at Walmart, and she had told me that everybody she worked with said she was stupid and she would never make it.
Oh no.
And she would come in by me just for encouragement. And so to see her graduate, I just get chills thinking about it still to this day. That was probably my better moment.
I'm getting teary-eyed just thinking of it right now. That's amazing.
That's really great. What are you listening to, reading, or watching right now?
Ooh, Bridgerton.
Oh, you're a Bridgerton fan.
Sorry.
Okay.
I'm not. Yeah, anything comedy too. I'm a big comedy person. I just watched Happy Gilmore too.
Oh yeah,
we watched that as well.
Too. Yeah.
Pretty. Yeah, we did. Pretty cameo heavy, but I wasn't that disappointed. I mean, it was fun and mindless. Pretty good.
Yeah. As my kid would say, it was mid.
Oh, boy. What's your favorite cereal, Dana?
Probably Rice Krispies with bananas cut up in it.
Oh.
And sugar.
Love the banana in the cereal. I'm definitely a fan.
All right. In the same vein, your favorite cookie?
Salted, like the chocolate chip cookies with the salt on top, the big chunks of salt. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Not crumble cookie though. I want a homemade one. I can skip anything bought, and once you bring a homemade cookie in, I'm all over it.
It'll be interesting to see if this relates to your favorite ice cream flavor.
It has been and always will be mint chocolate chip.
Okay. Does it need to be green?
I actually prefer it not to be. I like the white. You know what I'm talking about? When you see the white.
I know what you're talking about.
Chunks in there. Yeah. At one of those places where the custard's flowing out of the machine, you know it's fresh.
Yeah.
Then we're talking.
Oh. All right. What's the most overrated holiday?
Definitely Halloween.
I agree with you 100%, Dana. We're on the same page.
There's Halloween stuff out already. That's just not fair. Like, you know what I mean? Let's get to the spice and the pumpkins, and then we go to Halloween. You can't just bypass that beautiful little moment where all the fall leaves and pumpkin spice coffee.
I feel so judged in this moment. Like I think I literally just bought like a big like haunted mansion thing for the house for this Halloween, and I was like, it's on sale right now. Let's get it.
But did you put it out?
No, but I really did think about bringing it to my office and setting it on the table for the next 4 months.
Won't do it until September. It's just not fair to the rest of the fall funness.
I live on this old street in my neighborhood, and there is a house down the road about almost a mile where they haven't taken the big, massive skeleton. It sits like 20 feet in the air. They've never gotten rid of it. It just stays there all year. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, come on. Halloween.
Brody, and what are their names if they're listening to no, I'm kidding.
I do have fun with Halloween though. Like I built, when my kids were small, we built a body farm out of cardboard, and you would put your hand and then you would feel like spaghetti, right? And you'd feel grapes. You had to like really whoop it up. And then we handed out shots for the adults.
Wow, that's the fun house.
I'm in for that.
You just perked up when I said that, Kevin.
Yeah.
All right, we gotta lighten this a little more.
Okay.
One idea for making airline travel better.
I mean, they just fixed that, like the shoes. I don't like taking my shoes off. That's disgusting.
Yes, I hated that too.
That one's, we're good though.
How about an interesting fact that maybe only you care about or think is cool?
About myself?
Oh, it could be anything, like a interesting fact about anything.
Can I like come back to that one? This is that script or lightning round thing.
We'll come back. That'll be our closing one. So you've got to think of something great.
Okay.
Best food experience.
Ooh. Oh, I can't think of the name. It's the place in St. Louis where they throw the buns.
Oh, Lambert's and the road rolls.
Yeah.
I love the fun part of that. It's just not just the food. Yeah, it's the fun part.
If you haven't checked out a Lambert's and they toss the rolls at you, you better watch out.
I just buy the pound of bacon that you can buy. And that's the meal I've gotten the last couple of times. And then I eat the fried okra, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's a must, right? So
yeah, let's go. Favorite vacation?
Hawaii, because I just came from there. It's just fresh in my brain. I really enjoyed the caving and then electric mountain biking. Crazy fun. Anything outdoors for me.
Awesome.
I'm gonna flip this one so we don't end on this one, Brody. Worst moment of your college career?
The worst moment?
Yeah. The worst moment.
College career? You mean like working here?
Mm-hmm. Or your college career, whatever you want to go with.
That's a tough one. Oh, so it was called Act 10 in Wisconsin, and half of my office all left at once. They retired, walked out the door.
Oh.
It was just hard because it was like such good friends of mine, and they all left at once. When they leave one at a time, right, you can grieve a little bit, then you're good, but that was a hard one. I'd get up to the exit and I was like, I miss my friends. Recovered though. I have recovered.
Our last question. Coolest college tradition that you've experienced?
Oh, one that I can talk about?
Listen, there are several answers that we need a follow-up to this podcast already. Dana, after hours. Like not maybe for this one, but like.
Can I just say, I did not participate in this one, but it did happen at my college, my undergraduate college.
Sure. Right. Whatever you need to tell us, Dana.
People would disrobe and put bags on their heads and run out into this big mud pit. And I would lock the door and not participate in that. But
holy smokes. I didn't know where that was going to go, Brody, but here we are.
Yeah.
I feel like that there's probably a lot of stories like that. People just don't admit, because their moms might be listening, but.
There it is.
Yeah.
Well, Dana, it was great having you on.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we just have to say, listen, if we're going to have a pickup meeting, it's hard to have a better one than just sitting around with Dana and having a good conversation and chatting about all the things. But we really appreciate you sharing today with the audience and sharing about your expertise.
Thanks for having me. I miss your faces.
Yeah. Are you coming to annual?
Heck yeah.
All right. I'll see you there. That's awesome.
Dana will be at the annual conference. So if you have questions about Bridgerton, she is now your go-to.
Yeah.
That's the takeaway from today.
Yeah.
She's not a big fan of Gremlins too. So
thanks a lot.
Thanks, Dana.
Great to see you. Oh, that was so fun, Kevin.
Oh, what a pickup meeting.
I loved it.
Yeah, listen, this lightning round, we're going to have to keep evolving. As we keep going through the weeks, if people have suggestions for lightning round questions, feel free to send them in and let us know. That would be great.
Yeah, I really enjoyed her training and development stuff too, Kevin. Gosh, she's got so much good stuff to share there.
One of the things that it kept reminding me of, and I used to teach an academic advising course, and on the very first class session, I would ask the students to write what their advising philosophy is and have them turn it in, and no matter what, give them a really decent grade on it, and as long as they did the assignment. And then at the end of the semester, the last assignment they would do is, what is their advising philosophy now? And a large majority of them wouldn't remember what that is, but then, through the semester now understood that foundation that Dana talks about as being such a key part of of really how you set yourself up for success, and knowing why you believe what you believe and why advising is important to what you're doing and part of your career. And that was just such a powerful activity.
Yeah, hearing her talk about the story about the student, right, and the impact, right, kind of the person coming and watching her grow through her experience with that student, and knowing what she was accomplishing and what she had heard in her head and from other folks is just a reminder too about the importance of the work that we're doing, right? And that it's more than just scheduling. The stories that I have when I'm working in advising, people aren't running around going, man, Brody really made a difference in my life. That 4-year plan he put together for me was killer, right? And so that information's important. It builds the credibility that you have with the student. But at the end of the day, the way that you make students feel when you're interacting with them, and I think that's where good training and development kind of fits in terms of understanding our role as we work with students through their time with us at the institutions where we work.
All right. So as we transition to an end here, like what was the one question from the lightning round that you were sitting there going, oh, I want to talk about this. There's the one standing out. I'm going to guess it's food related, like your best food experience. You're like, I want to tell this story.
God, I have so many good food experiences. That isn't what I was going to talk about.
Listen, if anybody follows you on Instagram, they know that you have so many food experiences that are so good.
I've been so bad about posting to Instagram here lately too, Kevin. Doggone it. Maybe I need to get back into that. Here's what I'm thinking about right now, Kevin. I am addicted to a song right now. I cannot get it out of my head. I went to a concert this weekend, went to see Waxahachie. I feel really lucky in my life currently. I live 5 minutes from a really cool venue in Bloomington, Illinois called the Castle Theater. Waxahachie, Katie Crutchfield singing this song called Right Back to It. And MJ Lenderman, who's an artist I saw last year in Pittsburgh with my good friend Carrie Kincannon, who we have to have on this show for sure.
Have to.
Right. I am addicted to this song. I cannot get enough of it. I think it's the perfect song.
So there's where you're at.
That's where I'm at. That's what I'm thinking about right now.
All right.
That song is perfect. What are you thinking about right now?
I'm trying to think of how we wrap this shindig up today at this moment, but like honest to God, right? Like I mentioned this Oklahoma City trip with my kiddo, and we went to this place, and I am not a pie person, right? Like I'm just not, but went to this place called Pie Junkie, and listen, I hope it's there 2 years from now when annual conference is in Oklahoma City, because NACADA people should flock to this place. They had a s'mores pie, and I got a French silk pie, not in one setting because that's too much. But like in 2 different days, went to this place, and I'm gonna be honest. After having lunch today, and I enjoyed my salad, it was great. But on my mind right now is some pie.
My mom makes the best lemon meringue pie there is. I just love it so much. But when you say pie, I think like the Hostess fruit pies. Like I wonder. I don't know how I survived my childhood without those, but that's why I was such a fat little kid too. Gosh darn. Well, maybe that's good enough. We should end right there. I don't think it can get better.
We should. Okay, but hold on. Like there was one question, and we didn't get to ask Dana this one, and so I figured this is a good way for us to end this one and then head out.
Okay.
If we gave you a billboard in the middle of the NACADA annual conference, what would it say? I know this is a really hard question that was on our list.
I think do good, like be nice. I think it would be those 2 things, right? Like do good.
I like it. I if I was going to go with it just at this moment, and it wasn't going to be something super positive like yours is, it would be put your phone away and talk to a human.
Oh, that's a great one too. I love it.
Gosh. All right, folks. We're wrapping things up for today. It's been so good to have you listening. We hope to have you back when we have our next episode. But, this is where we're at. It's time to sign off. Next time, new topics, and see you at the next pickup meeting.
That's right. We'll try to be better. We promise. That's the only thing that we can promise is we'll try to be better.